Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, hey, hey.
It's your girl, Lindsay Does It.
And it's Hazel Joy.
And this is the
Filipinoculture
Podcast. Welcome to another episode.
We back.
We back.
Oh, we back.
What's up, Hazel?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey. How you doing, girl?
Good. Just dandy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing better than Drake.
Oh, not the Drake reference.
I'm doing better than Drake.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about that beef. How many episodes ago?
Maybe like three or four episodes ago.
When J. Cole apologized.
Yeah.
And we were feeling a little weird about that. So update from that. What? There's like 5 new songs now.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Rick Ross has one. Champagne Toast on Drake, right? This on Drake. We didn't talk about Chris Brown
And Quavo.
but that happened in between that conversation.
That was so random to me.
And then now what? Kendrick has 3 tracks?
Kendrick
How many
has-
tracks does he have?
I think 3 or 4. But before that, Metro Boomin came out with a beat called BBL Drake.
Okay, so I still haven't even heard that. I haven't heard the Chris Brown one or the Quavo.
Me neither.
Or the
Rick
BBL
Ross. Oh, yeah,
Drake. I heard
BBL
the Rick
Drake.
Ross one. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So there was a Drake leak, right? And then there was an
Yes.
official Drake.
Push-ups.
Yes. And then Family Matters.
Family Matters, yup.
And then Kendrick has
Kendrick
Not Like
had-
Us.
Yeah, that's his
The
newest,
newest one.
Oh,
I like
my
that beat on that
gosh.
though. I was
Shout
like,
out to Mustard.
hey.
Mustard on the beat.
No lie. That song
Dude.
kind of bangs though.
They not like us. They not like us. I'm
I
sorry.
was actually listening to it on the way here. I was like,
It's the
this
new
kinda
summertime
goes.
anthem.
This kind of goes though.
Everybody say OV ho.
OV
Say OV
You got
ho.
everybody saying
OV.
that now.
Everybody has memed that song with like people line dancing. And it's like, that's exactly how it's going to be this summer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Kendrick came out with a Not Like Us, which is the newest one. And then he did 616 in LA. And then he did Meet the Grams.
Oh, that was
Ouch.
OV ho.
OV ho, say OV ho. OV. Now step this way. Step this way. Now step this way. Now step this way. So good. I think Kendrick had a song before 616 in LA.
I haven't heard that one actually. Should we play it real quick? While you're looking for it, okay, so really quick, Meet the Grams, Kendrick really just went after his family, and it was kind of brutal and harsh, and I always feel like once you start talking about the family, it gets a little sensitive, but
Yep.
he goes in because he also calls Drake a pedophile and his whole team basically a pedophile.
Yes,
and then now
sex
that
offenders.
clip of that 17-year-old girl that Drake brought up on stage is going viral. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
So
I heard of it,
and
though.
then check it today. I saw her put out a statement, I think on, I don't know if it was X or Threads, but she posted, or Instagram, but she posted basically she was 17 at that time, and he was just doing it for show on stage. He always brings fans up, and she was at the show with her dad. Ooh. But then they're like, comments were saying, okay, if that were true, then it doesn't make it look any better because he was talking about her body and she's still a minor.
Oh my gosh.
It was kind of crazy, but it's kind of spiraling everything.
Ugh.
And you found it?
I think what you had was right. I never
Is
heard the
it?
beginning, yeah.
Oh, okay. Should
Was
I
it-
fast forward it? Okay, so maybe it is the right one, but
Someone said in the comments, yet another song for Adonis to play when he gets grounded.
sheesh.
Look, okay, so, all right. A lot of people are saying, like, okay, Drake is accusing Kendrick for being an abusive partner in his relationships, and Kendrick is accusing him for Drake of being a pedophile and having a daughter or whatever. A lot of people are saying, like, these facts are not based in any kind of truth at all. Like, they're just getting false information from different people and just running with it. So even though these songs are based off lies, I will say that it's super entertaining. And I think
Yeah.
Kendrick really just, like, he went for it, man. He's so talented. As you could tell, I'm a Kendrick fan. I think Hazel is too in this situation.
I just don't know because they were friends before and they have songs in the past together. So I don't understand really where it came from. Do you?
I think I think we give these rappers too much credit.
Yeah, I mean, it's for show, I
Because
feel.
just because they make music together, just because they've done shows together, doesn't mean that they're
Like the
more
best
than
of
a business
friends.
relationship.
That's true.
So yeah, even though they did songs together and went on tour together, I don't think there's anything linking like make. I don't think Kendrick finds anything in common with him and Drake.
Yeah, the things that they represent and talk about in their music are completely opposite. And
Different.
the way that Kendrick was just like, I hate everything about you. I'm like, he's really going in. And then, yeah, I don't know. There's just so
It's
much
a
to
lot.
unpack here.
Yeah, this is just for reference. We are recording this in the beginning of May, so basically the weekend after Kendrick dropped "Not Like Us." So by the time this airs, who knows? Like Max said, he could drop like 5, 6, 7, 8 more songs. We don't know.
It almost seems like premeditated, like Kendrick had these in the bank and just kind of waiting for them to drop. And then now it kind of makes you think, oh, J. Cole made a smart move apologizing because he knew Kendrick was about to go in.
I'm glad you mentioned
Yeah.
that because I saw someone posted something that at the Dreamville concert where J. Cole apologized on stage and announced that he was going to remove his song from streaming platforms. A source says that Schoolboy Q was there, and prior to J. Cole taking the stage, he told Cole, he gave him a heads up, quote unquote. And so from the source, we couldn't figure out, or whoever's reporting it said the source made it seem like either they don't know whether or not if they gave him friendly advice or if they like gave him like a threat or something. But all in all, Schoolboy Q basically told him like, hey, you don't want a part of this. And that's when J. Cole got on stage. This is all just, speculation. Yeah, hearsay. But I mean, if Schoolboy Q gave J. Cole the heads up, and which led to J. Cole like basically backing away from this battle, then good for Schoolboy Q. I'm glad because I like J. Cole.
You know what is kind of cool too, from Kendrick's point, is that I heard that he took off the copyright of his music so that he can give content creators, like they can monetize their videos.
Reaction videos.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
That's
of him
awesome.
to do that. But that also gives him more clout and more like visibility with his music if
true.
there's no copyright too.
And that's like,
So that's a win.
and that totally is the opposite of what Drake would do and what Drake has done, because Drake has written a cease and desist to
French.
I forgot
I thought it was French Montana.
Future
Oh, Future.
so Future's label. Drake's label wrote a cease and desist to Future's label to take off like that from radio play.
Really?
So Kendrick is like, you know what? If you want to be a gatekeeper, if you are sensitive and you don't want music to be played, I'm gonna be the opposite of you. I'm gonna let all these people use my songs and get monetized from my music because I'm about the people. That's how I took it.
Okay, I don't really know like the depth of the beef and the behind the scenes or what is true and what is not true. But like you said, it's great for entertainment purposes. But I also want to note that for J. Cole, I was actually surprised to see that J. Cole and Drake went on tour together, because I also feel like they represent different things. And if anything, I would see J. Cole touring with Kendrick because of how I feel like their music is a little bit more in
aligned.
alignment. Yeah. So that was actually surprising for me. And then it's still funny to me even when they had that song and like calling themselves the Big Three when, Kendrick wasn't even on that track.
Right.
But that always kind of surprised me too. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like funny business, I think, sometimes.
I think J. Cole wanted to include Kendrick because I think he knows in the back of his mind that if he said that him and Drake are the two best, people are going to be like, nah, Kendrick.
Yeah.
So I think he was like, you know what, I'm going to throw him in there too. Yeah. You know what, there's a lot of people that are still really enjoying this beef and the back and forth diss tracks between Drake and Kendrick. And then there's some people that are like, can we stop it already?
I think it's fun, but it's also everyone's saying, "Oh, it's just a distraction." Everything is a distraction, but at least it's entertaining distraction,
Right?
From like the
boys
political
cook.
agenda, probably and whatever. But you know what?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like
Sure.
we can pay attention to more than one thing at
Yeah,
a
we
time.
can.
You know what I mean? So
We can still get entertained.
entertained as well as
Yeah.
educated and be like aware of what's going on in the world
Exactly.
after we listen to these songs.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I was gonna say earlier, like the things that I think Kendrick. I think I said this earlier though. Just the things that Kendrick was saying in his songs about how it just was so like heavy content wise,
Oh.
whereas Drake is just kind of a little superficial. But also, I don't know what the allegations are with Kendrick beating his. Is it his ex-wife?
ex
Or
fiance,
ex-fiance. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I never even heard of that. But then Drake said something about like hiring people to keep it under wraps or whatever. And it
Oh,
was
interesting.
man, what else? I thought it was funny when Kendrick was talking about his fake abs because they do look fake. I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me.
Another rapper, I forgot who, was talking about Drake having lipo scars.
Oh,
I think that might have been Metro Boomin.
damn.
Metro Boomin said something about like, yeah, you talking this and that, but why don't you show people your ab scars or your lipo scars or something like that?
And then Kendrick's shot fired with talking about Drake leaking a video. That was his D, right? His D video. And like talking about, oh, like it was leaked, but but then he mentions that in his song.
He
Drake,
did.
Like the
He's Kim Kardashian.
oh gosh.
Oh, it leaked. My sex tape leaked. My D video leaked.
Yeah.
Nah, you did that, bruh.
Yeah,
You did that.
exactly.
Yeah, of course he would talk about
questionable.
his own like D video in his diss song towards another man.
But he did address in Family Matters other artists, right? In that one, like Rick Ross.
Oh, yes,
Didn't
I think
he?
so. Mhm.
Talking about Ozempic, right? Using Ozempic.
That's so
There's so many things. I feel like this can be a whole episode of its own, huh?
Definitely, but we definitely had
Yeah.
we had it fresh on our brains, so we definitely
Yeah.
wanted to talk
Yeah.
about it. We might not keep all this in, but who knows?
We'll
it's,
see.
It's fun to talk about for sure.
Yeah, okay, let's get into the meat of the episode though.
Yeah.
Now, it's a bit controversial, just as controversial as this rap beef that we were just talking about.
Picking sides and
but,
whatnot.
I can remember specifically when I was in high school, I don't know how early on this conversation maybe you've had with your friends of the topic of Filipinos being Asian versus Pacific Islander. And I remember it being a huge debate in high school, and I'm like, why is this even a debate? But I kind of feel mixed about it, and I was curious to know what your thoughts on that were. Like, do you consider Filipinos Asian or Pacific Islander or both?
I've always considered Filipinos to be Asian. I've always
Mm-hmm.
considered myself to be Asian. Yeah, so
Not Pacific Islander.
not Pacific Islander.
Okay.
No.
You know what? I always had that standpoint as well. And I don't really understand why there are certain Filipinos that don't want to be called Asian. I'm like, but we are.
That's
It's kind of
that's-
weird.
we gotta unpack that.
Yeah. So
too, yeah.
I saw this. Okay, it is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So it was just such an interesting thing to talk about because shout out to Instagram at onedown.media. I saw this post and I just thought it was really interesting and I wanted to talk about it. Can Filipinos claim Pacific Islander? And they go on to say 48% of Filipino Americans identify as Pacific Islander over Asian when asked to check a box. Why is this? I always checked Asian though. I never checked
too.
Pacific Islander. So the next slide. Some Philams don't identify as Asian due to their differing cultural experiences from East Asians who are primarily represented in Asian American culture. Filipinos don't traditionally use chopstick. I guess this is the argument. Filipinos don't traditionally use chopsticks, have different physical features, do mano po instead of bow. So mano po is like you go like that when you greet your elders. Don't celebrate Lunar New Year, are mostly Catholic, have many different traditions, are known for their happy personalities. But then you can kind of say that Filipinos are a lot closer to Hispanics, or
Yeah.
Spanish because of like some of
Those
those
things listed, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Right? That's another argument too. So Pacific Islanders and Filipinos also share Austronesian ancestry due to a mass migration from Taiwan, leading to genetic and even linguistic similarities. So there's a lot of language similarities between different, like, obviously we know Spanish, but in this specific slide, it compares English, Filipino, and Chamorro. Chamorro is Guamanian, right?
Guamanian.
Yeah. So, for example, I'll give you a couple words. So, in English, butterfly, Filipino, ali bang bang. I never knew that's how you say it. Unless I'm saying it wrong.
That should be somebody's username or like a DJ name.
Ali bang bang. And then chamorro, aba bang. So it's pretty similar. Another one is shadow, Filipino, anino, chamorro, anineng.
Wow.
Wine, alak, alak.
Alak.
I was saying that funny. Alak. I know I'm saying all of these funny.
I would too. Trust me.
Chamorro, arak. So with an R.
Ooh.
English, lazy. Filipino, gago.
What?
I didn't know that gago
I thought it was
means lazy.
tamad.
I thought gago meant stupid.
I thought gago meant like you can't speak right.
So did I. But in chamorro, it's also gago. We, kame, and then chamorro, hami. English, thunder. Filipino, kulog. Chamorro, hulo.
Wow.
Let's see if there's another interesting one that's really close. Yeah, I guess the last one I want to say is fried banana, maruya in Filipino, and chamorro, madoya. It's not really
A little bit.
both M's, but
With the ya.
yeah. Oh, heaven is similar. Filipino, langit. Chamorro is langit, so it's an E.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Okay, so this slide says that migration took over 1,000 years and led people to Southeast Asia as well. As a result, Filipinos also have strikingly similar looks, languages, and indigenous cultures to Malaysians and Indonesians who identify as Asian, which I've actually seen the similarities for sure.
Yes, I've had friends, coworkers that are Indonesian. I don't know if I know any Malaysians, but there are similar. Same with Chamorro, like similar features and similar words too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. And then the truth is, Filipinos identifying as Pacific Islander can be problematic to Pacific Islander communities. And then this goes on to say that Associate Professor of Sociology at Cal Poly Pomona, Anthony Ocampo, explains why. You guys can go to @onedown.media to check out these slides, by the way. And then Filipino American Asia Jackson expands on this. Asia Jackson says, a criticism Southeast Asians often have about Asian representation is the erasure of brown/Southeast Asians in favor of East Asians. However, it's also important to point out that Pacific Islanders are among the most marginalized of groups in the U.S. next to NDNs and are... Is that Indians? She spells it out as Indians. Oh, Indians. And are nearly erased from media. This is why the conflation of Filipino Pacific Islanders is harmful. It's literally contributing to the erasure of Pacific Islanders and their own unique issues and history with American imperialism, and it's even erasure of Filipino history, culture, and identity at the same time. So, have you ever identified as Pacific Islander on official documentation, and what was your reason behind that choice? Is that interesting?
Very. I'm sure a lot of Filipinos who identify as Pacific Islander, especially on like official forms and documents, didn't give it a second thought as to how it actually affects like Polynesian community and people that like are solidly Pacific Islander. Like I never really thought about the repercussions that they would face as a culture by Filipinos claiming that they are also Pacific Islanders. So that's really insightful.
I've seen the argument of like, because the Philippines are made up of islands, so it's like, oh, we're islands, but then is it What other Asian countries are islands and don't
Malaysia, Indonesia, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
and they don't consider themselves Pacific Islanders? So
No.
exactly. So I don't know. It's kind of such a touchy subject. I almost feel like, can we claim both? You know, I think Asian for sure.
interesting.
But
Yeah.
can we claim Pacific Islander? Now, I want to mention some of these comments under that post because they have some really good arguments.
Please. So, and then I'm going to look something up on my own that I can contribute.
For sure. So this comment at Samantha J.B says, as a Filipino who was born and raised in Guam around Pacific Islanders, I will say no. There is a shared belief amongst the Islander community, example, Hawaiians, Samoans, Fijians, Micronesians, etc., that when Filipinos identify as Pacific Islanders, it skews the U.S. Census data and inadvertently quiets the voices of those in this community simply for the fact that there are more Filipinos living in U.S. than Pacific Islanders. That is a really interesting thought, and I can kind of see what she means by that. This person commented under that post saying, this is at jetset.glenn. Exactly. Filipinos claiming to be Pacific Islanders are hurting their community without even knowing it. That's not to say that no Filipinos can claim Pacific Islander. We're a diverse population in the U.S. where some Filipinos are mixed Chamorro, Samoans, and etc. If they want to claim Pacific Islander, that's fine. If both of your parents are from the Philippines, you're Asian. And actually do know people who are mixed too. And I agree with that. Like, obviously, you can't claim it because you're mixed.
Right, right.
Okay, so this is a different opinion by this comment at Zena Coda. I am a hard yes on this. Even if it's a semantics game, we have way more in common with PI culture than mainland Asia. We're also literally an island in the Pacific. In terms of identity, that's in the eye of the beholder, and society telling you that you can't ID as such is such a colonist view too. So I say yes.
Interesting.
Last comment, a comment under that one at SPNB Boy 670. Because to you guys, Asia equals China, Japan, and Korea. And guess what? Japan is an island. Taiwan is an island.
Yeah,
Indonesia is a bunch of islands. We are Southeast Asian. We have more in common with Indonesia and Malaysia than with Hawaii. So
There you go.
there's a lot of arguments in that comment section, but I just thought those ones were pretty interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And what I was looking up is that I do know, I mean, the Philippines, we have been colonized by a few different cultures and nationalities. And we were actually occupied by the Japanese for 4 years. I think, and I'm trying to look at the actual article, I think we were occupied by the Japanese in the 1940s. So I wonder if that residual, maybe resentment towards Japanese influences the certain Filipinos to say, hey, we're not Asian because the Japanese occupied us and we didn't like that. You know what I mean? So I wonder if it might be stemmed from that.
That's an
for
interesting
some.
perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, so backtrack. I didn't even know what the meaning of Austronesian meant. So I looked it up, and if you don't know what it means, the Austronesian peoples, sometimes referred to as Austronesian speaking peoples, are a large group of peoples in Taiwan, maritime Southeast Asia, parts of mainland Southeast Asia, Micronesia, coastal New Guinea, I don't know how to pronounce
Guinea.
that. Guinea, island Melanesia, Polynesia, and Madagascar that speak Austronesian languages. They also include indigenous ethnic minorities in Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand, Hainan, and the Comoros, and the Torres Strait Islands. The nations and territories predominantly populated by Austronesian-speaking peoples are sometimes known collectively as Austronesia. I didn't know that, actually, so I had to look it up.
That is a wide range of countries.
Right? And I butchered all of the names,
Oh,
but
It's all good. But I mean, you can clump a group of any countries together and call it what you want. You know what I mean? And for it to be such a broad like net that it casts. Like who's Austronesian? Anyone from I don't know if they mentioned like Samoa, there, or Tonga, or all the way up to like Vietnam. You know what I mean? That's like
Right.
a big range. It's really interesting. I mean, I see both sides having, you know, I don't know, a leg to stand on when it comes to their argument, sure, but I've always identified as Asians, and I always thought of Filipinos as being Asian.
I agree with you, and I've always felt that way as well. And I feel like I relate more to the Asians than the Pacific Islanders. Not to say that there aren't things in common with Pacific Islanders, but it's such a debatable topic. But I don't see anything wrong with why Filipinos can't identify as Asian because we are.
We're like literally in like every book, every
Exactly.
geographical book and globe.
Exactly.
We are in the continent of Asia. So that's what I based my opinion off of when I was a little kid.
Exactly. But if anything, like I said earlier, I feel like we relate more to the Spanish than we do the Pacific Islanders, especially because of the Spanish colonization. So it's just kind of like you just pick and choose, I guess, what you identify with.
And in that same sense, it's like we do have a lot of like mixed ethnicities in our history, and that makes the language different. That makes our physical features look different. But you can take that argument and be like, so do you guys consider India as part of Asia? Because it is.
It is, yeah.
But they look the most different out of all of us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? As far as a typical what you think an Asian person looks like,
It's true.
they are probably not the first like face you see in your head when you think of
Exactly.
Asians. But do you discount them from being Asian because of their looks? You know what I mean?
You know what? We should do that. What is it? Those little tests is like 23andMe or whatever, and then we could read the results on the show. That'd be fun. I haven't done that,
Gosh.
but I'm curious to see like what I really am, because I know I have a background of Filipino, Thai, what else? Portuguese, Spanish. I think that's all I remember, but
That's interesting.
it'd be really interesting.
I'll put in money for that test. Let's go get you tested.
Let's get tested.
Yeah, and
just to see. I'm
yeah.
curious.
And yeah, I don't know what our family tree is made up of.
What if I find
honestly.
my biological father?
You know what?
Because I never met my biological father. I don't know why that's funny, but
I think a long time ago, I think I asked you if you were ever interested, and you're like, no. And I was like, oh, man.
I am, but I think I said no because my mom, like when I was a kid, she told me when I was in third grade, she said that your stepdad, which was with me since I was 1 year old, so to me he was always my dad, R.I.P. dad, and she told me that he was really my blood dad, and I was like shocked because it was just a shock, but also I wasn't mad. I was just like, oh, I'd rather know as a kid than as an adult, and I think I would be mad as an adult because I'd be like, what? That's ridiculous. But anyway, so she was always like, don't go looking for him. So apparently I'm Thai. I don't know.
Let's look. You don't have to sorry, Tita. We're not going to tell you.
Now all the listeners are going to go on a mission. Internet, do your thing.
Let's go. And we're off. You know what? Because not too long ago, we were talking about Risa Tisa and Who the Fuck Did I Marry?
Oh,
and how
gosh.
she was telling her story, and she had no desire for anyone listening to go look for Legion and look for like his exes
Did
or
she
whatever.
really think they were going to look, though?
And they did look.
Yeah.
They did look. So, I mean, hey, we're telling your story now, and who knows, someone might be like, you know what? I want to look.
I mean, I obviously have natural curiosities about my background and potential siblings or family members. I don't know. But
I think you have every single right to explore your past and to go looking if you want to.
yeah.
And
I guess I don't have the energy for that.
I'll help
But-
you if you want me to
Oh,
help.
gosh.
I want to. Because you
Stay
never
tuned.
know. You never know. Yeah, we'll talk about this off camera.
Stay tuned. Well, this was a fun episode. I am curious what you guys think about Filipinos being either Pacific Islander or Asian or both or not. I don't know. can we just be our own category?
Uh-huh.
But I'm really curious because I know that Filipino Americans have great differing views from actual Philippine natives. So if you're a listener from the Philippines, I'm curious to know what your thoughts on this are. Or if you're a Filipino American, then I'm curious to know as well.
Yeah, sound off in the comments.
Yeah.
You definitely can comment on all of our social media. You can find us at the.millennials on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, and before we sign off on this episode, I do want to give a shout out to a listener who actually gave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. And let me pull that up real quick. I forgot to screenshot it. You can edit this out.
Yeah. Oh, while you actually pull that up, you can also leave comments on our YouTube. That's another place to leave comments.
Oh no, it crashed.
All good?
Why did it crash? Okay. Pulling it up. Here we go. I should have had this ready, sorry.
All good. Hey, by the way, you guys, now that we are sitting down in chairs, you can take like a full look at like our outfits and stuff. And you notice Hazel and I, we're wearing long socks. I found this out.
Oh yeah, you are.
I found something out a few months ago, or maybe like a year ago, that ankle socks are no longer in fashion.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
I'm
like,
so out of the loop.
I'm gonna use all my long socks.
Out of the loop with what's in fashion. But okay, I found the review. Okay, so this is from Michelle _1217. She actually left this review last December. I just saw it. I'm terrible. I just saw it.
We gotta check these things more often.
So this is a review on Apple Podcasts, and it's titled Pinoy Style. 5 stars. Thank you for sharing the Filipino culture, food, jeepney, and more. So fun to listen to both of you. Keep it coming, and congratulations with a emoji. What's that? The little
Oh, it's like a little like
celebration.
party popper cone thingy.
Follow Millennials. You'll get more historic stories about Pinoys. Parentheses Filipinos. Love you both with a heart emoji and the.
Thank you,
Little-
Michelle
Thank you,
_1217.
Michelle. Yeah, that was so sweet.
Aw, I love that. Oh, that's awesome. You can get your comment read online on air as well if you leave a good one for
Yeah.
us. So yeah.
We have more to go through, so
Oh yeah,
for sure.
we're backed up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, but we
Yeah.
appreciate your support and all the love we see you guys. We are so excited to just keep bringing out more content for you guys and
Yes.
engage with you on these kind of conversations because as we're learning and digesting more about our culture and just like figuring out our identities as Filipino Americans, and it's such great conversation to have because it's just like I said, we're trying to figure out who we are as well and how we fit in the society and whatnot as
Definitely.
millennials.
Yeah, let's talk about our roots more. Let's talk about like where we come from. Let's talk about like all of our cultural quirks and like historical figures and all that good stuff. It's healthy.
Yeah.
You never know where you're going unless you know where you're from.
Exactly.
I don't know where. I think I misquoted, but yeah, you know what we mean. So yeah, as long as you guys keep enjoying and engaging in our conversations and our content, we're gonna keep pumping it out for you for sure.
And shout out to Aaron. We miss you today. Hope you feel better. Get well soon.
He's absent today.
Oh. And yeah, well, thank you for tuning in to another episode. Catch us on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.
That's right. And once again, follow us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok under @the.millennials.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, we'll catch you at the next one.
Peace.
Bye.